Hi, welcome to Old Mutual on the Money with John Manyike. My name is Thabo Hollo. You've been paying your insurance diligently. You're making sure that every month your premium goes off with no glitch. And boom, things happen. Today we're going to deal with claims, salvages, and what happens behind the scene. And we have an expert in the house. Look, I have a bone to pick with you, my guy. I've paid my insurance diligently, without a glitch. Tell me about the claims process. What happens when you claim?
Well, we're going to get into the bone. So, firstly, very important, obviously, that you pay your premiums on time, that you disclose everything to the insurer. Because ideally, what it is a promise between the insured and the insurer, right? This contractual obligation. And when it comes to the claims component, you have to make sure that you inform the insurer on time when it's safe to do so. And that will then give us an opportunity to validate, what it is that you're saying, what happened, etc. I guess then we pay out as soon as we can without any delay. I think the most important part is that you tell us exactly what transpired, provide the evidence, and then we pay out. I guess that what we want to do is pay out all valid claims, right? So
all valid claims.
Yeah.
Thank you. But let's step back a little bit. So I'm driving on November 1 in Cape Town, minding my own business, and boom, there I get hit. In seconds, there's 3, 4, 5 tow trucks around me.
Sure.
What do I do? Who do I call? What then?
Sure, that is a scary scenario. Hopefully, you're not on like a bendy road, half the side of the mountain,
Yep.
So I guess, and that's a very specific date, November the 1st. Are you okay? Do you need, we have a service called ICAD. But anyway, so yeah, I guess in that scenario, the most important thing is that you are safe first, right? Before you worry about calling the insurer. We understand that safety comes first, that you ensure that if you have passengers with you, that everyone is safe, pull off on the side of the road if you can. It's most important is that you are safe, right? Once the noises die down, all these tow trucks are around you, you'd want to then make sure that we have a clause in short-term insurance where if you use a tow truck that is not one of ours, then you're going to be paying, or you're going to have a minimum amount that will be paid out to them. So you want to ensure that you use one of our service providers, because the claims guys in the back end negotiate with service providers to be able to offer you services at a specific level that's good for you as the consumer and good for us as the insurer. And if you go wide of that, then you you're going wide of the contract. But you are then going to be liable for any associated costs outside of that amount that we've set out for you.
So it's always safer and important for you to deal with a service provider that is associated with your insurer, irrespective of who the insurer is, right? 100%. Don't just pick Brajo because Brajo got there to the scene first.
100%. I mean, often we even give you, it's a trend where the insurers give you that do not tote sticker with who the service providers are. So it's they usually stick it on the side of your windows just to make sure that if you are also not in a position to divulge or speak to the people, they see that sticker. So
okay, so it happened. I'm already there. What are the things that you need from me as an insured, right, to provide during the claims process?
So you would make the process easier. Just make sure you have like your ID number, your policy number.
Okay.
Then obviously the evidence of what transpired, like photos, or if let's say you're claiming for something in your contents, your jewelry, etc., you'd need to have receipts or evidence that the item existed and the value of the item. And then just tell us exactly what happened, right? The incident. The November 1 incident, you drove on this side of the car, on the road, etc., whatever the case may be. So it's very important that you have your ID information or your policy number. And then I think the biggest part it's probably when we communicate back to you what's going to happen is that you understand your policy, right? So there's maybe some exclusions, or maybe there's excess that you need to pay, because if you had an excess structure on your policy, you can't expect not to pay it because that's what you bought, right? You agreed to say, I'm paying a 5,000 Rand excess in the event of a claim. The first amount payable will be from you, and we will settle the balance. So those are the, I guess, few things.
So it's almost like know exactly what you covered for, know what are the clauses in your. But then tell me about that claims. Is there any amount that is specific that that is covered in a claim, or is it by case? Is it a case by case? And if so, up to what level? Let's say, for instance, my beautiful Bugatti got smashed, right? Is there a limit to it? And where is that cutoff? Where, for instance, you say, nope, we can't cover beyond this. This is, there's a term that you guys use, economically or uneconomically recoverable. What is that term, and what does it even mean?
Yes. I think you're referring to when there's a write-off or total loss. So every insurer has like a calculation or a ratio. So let's say your Bugatti was a write-off, or when the insurer decides it's a write-off, it's when something is uneconomically viable to repair. So usually that is, let's say, between 60 to 75% of the total loss. So once it starts playing in that range, it doesn't make sense to repair it, or it's unsafe, to repair it, for example,
okay.
or we've repaired it, but it's not going to be safe because of the damage has been so significant. So yeah, I think that is something that's important for the insurer to understand.
Yes.
And there's not, so when you insure your items, you're going to insure it for a sum insured amount, so a limit that we agreed to, both of us. So usually in the case of a car, it's a retail value that we work. Other insurers might work with market values, or if you have a high value item or it's an older car, then we do agreed values. So there's different values, but for us usually it's agreed and retail value. And whatever that amount is, we will indemnify you. If the Bugatti, I don't know what they go for these days, a couple of million. If you insured it that way, that's what we indemnify you. But as soon as the incident dictates that it's uneconomically viable to repair, we will deem it a write-off and we will pay you out.
Then what happened to my car? So here's the thing. I've paid
This is the bone, right?
This is the bone that So I've paid you diligently over the past 5 years. I'm left with 3 months, bruh.
Yes.
3 months.
Yes.
Then it's a write-off.
Yes.
What do you do with that? What is that also called?
The salvage component?
Is it the salvage?
Yes.
What is salvage?
Well, I think it's a great model that was introduced by insurers to make sure that we are able to make claims affordable or make insurance affordable, right? So that's like the beauty of salvage, is that you paid a premium, we paid you out for the value that we agreed. We take that item and we now go sell it or put it to auction houses to recover some money from that. And it helps to keep claims at a lower rate. There's like some crazy stat about 60 to 70% of the drivers are uninsured in South Africa.
Yes.
And so that puts a large amount of pressure on us as insured drivers. The 20, 30% of us that are out there that are insured has to pay for 100% of the drivers on the road.
True.
So I think salvage is it's like an awesome model to help keep us, the 20%, to make it economically viable. You see what I did there? But it's a great model. I think it's whoever came up with that idea, well done to them. And of course, it contributes to the SMEs that in the business world, commercial insurance, those type of things. So it helps our economy on the one side, and the other side it helps us as insureds to get a lower premium.
Now it makes sense. So that's a way of reducing the amount that I have to pay as a collective, as part of the collective, right?
Correct.
Because you, as an insurer, are able to recover some of this money, therefore put it in the pot and say, now let's push this down. But then I still have a gripe.
Yes,
What then happens to the car? You just sell it off?
gone. We don't remember the insurance. We're not like we want to ensure that obviously because we like for example, Old Mutual is a big company, right? We have investors, etc. So we have underwriting margins that we need to maintain. But if we don't salvage or we don't manage costs associated with claims correctly, those margins become smaller, which puts a lot of pressure on us to perform, right? And usually when margins become smaller, who suffers?
The insured.
You and I, yeah. So
Yeah.
the insureds, our premiums go up, etc. So it's a big part of this insurance market to try and manage the claims costs. Because ideally, why do you pay for insurance? So when you claim, you can. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Be
if
put in the same position as I was.
100%. So we don't, I think it's a very responsible model of the insurers to have this to help the people of South Africa.
But hang on, can I buy it back? I mean, I love my car.
Sure.
I know it's now a skodonk and it's smashed up, but can I at least buy it back?
100%. So you can actually have that conversation with your claims consultant at the time and say, listen, I love this car, whatever reason. Everyone
Could be sentimental reasons.
100%. And then all we'll do is we'll arrange with you to say, okay, cool, your claim amount was X. We deduct the salvage amount, which was Y, and we will pay you out Z. So you take your item, and we will give you the difference.
Oh yeah. That now makes sense. That's why I'm not getting my car back. I still have a cry. Right. Now I understand why I can't get my car back. So clearly there's a process that I can follow. I can talk to a claims consultant and say, look, I'd love to buy my, at least for sentimental reasons, my skodonk back. I get that, right? But what are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to salvage?
Sure, that's a good question. I think kind of like how this conversation be going in this gripe that you have with us as the insurer is like I think the people of South Africa probably think that it's a money-making scheme, right? Salvage. That insurers unduly profit from these items once have taken them away. When in fact the reality is that it actually helps us to manage the cost of claims. If you consider, what's happened over the last few years, inflation skyrocketing, parts to replace has become extremely expensive. I think about 90% increase from pre-COVID, post-COVID. It's really expensive when it comes to claims, and salvage contributes to keeping that down so that we are able to have premiums that's affordable as consumers. So I think it's a great thing.
Oh, fantastic. In an ideal situation, some of these things we shouldn't be having in life. But the reality of the matter is, in some instances, we are confronted with very unique situations where, for example, you might have a problematic child at home, or you might have those employees with sticky fingers at work. Talk to me about a situation where I'm paying my insurance, whether it's commercial or personal, but at home, there's this guy that just gives me problems and always steals my stuff from home. But he's my child.
Sure.
How does the insurance deal with that? At the same time, I also run my business. And yes, ideally I don't want to have people with sticky fingers, but the fact of the matter is, yes, we do have stuff that's steal from the companies. How does insurance deal with that?
Yeah, sure. That's a very complex scenario, and it's a reality for most South Africans, right? So the simple answer in the short-term situation, so in like a child or family member that lives with you, it's a general exclusion on policies. We don't cover theft by family members because you take out insurance for the unforeseen and the unknown. And if you've got a problem child, it's very likely that the foreseen is going to happen. But yeah, it is an exclusion in your short-term insurance policy, personal lines, and in commercial. So to cover your business insurance, you have to buy a special type of insurance or special type of um, risk, which is called fidelity cover. And that will cover these scenarios where your employees steal from you. But obviously, you have to ensure you follow the process, right? You have to make a case with the police service. You have to ensure that you protect your goods and have all sorts of controls in place to avoid theft. So yeah, in business, you can have it covered. You can buy that type of cover. But in personal lines, unfortunately, it's a general exclusion.
But thanks, Luke. Thanks very much for your great insights. You heard it from the expert. When it comes to the claims process, give as much information as you possibly can. So make sure that everybody's safe and everybody at the scene is safe before you make that one phone call to your insurer. But talk to your claims consultant. Thank you.